Good morning, everybody. Today's Tuesday, August 3rd. I'm going to today talk about things that I think are important. Now, they're not the same for everybody. I think that everybody has their own journey in life, but sometimes the things that are important help somebody else. So I'm going to just tell you the things that I think are important when it comes to being sick or how you view life. Because it makes a huge difference how you view your life. The first thing that I think is very important to understand, knowledge is power. Therefore, when you're first given a diagnosis of Parkinson's, one of two things happens. You either go to a really dark, scary place and you think, oh, this is a disease that's going to kill me, and I have to prepare myself for that. That is not true. The other thing that could happen is you go, oh, it's not really anything, because you know nothing about it. So you think to yourself, oh, that's nothing. I'll just take whatever pill I need to take and off I'll go. That also is not true. See, what you need to do is you need to know that if you empower yourself with knowledge, you can make an educated decision about how you're going to live your life. And each one of us is very different. Parkinson's has a huge, somebody has said 40, I don't know if that's accurate, but they've said like 40 different symptoms. You don't get all of them. Not by any means you don't get all of those symptoms. Some people think of Parkinson's and the only thing they think of is tremor. And for me, tremor was not a major thing. It is becoming more of a major thing, but it was not at the beginning. So every person is different, and they will take and learn for themselves what they need to do. So the first thing that I think a person needs to do to be handling the rest of their life with an illness like Parkinson's is to educate themselves. Be that talk to many doctors, be that go to the Parkinson's Society in your country, every country has one, and talk to a focused Parkinson doctor or nurse or practitioner who has studied for years likely in that fashion and can definitely give you a hand with knowing what's important and what you need to know. The second thing would be to be positive-minded. If you go into it thinking, this is going to be terrible, every day that you get up and you say, this is going to be a bad day, it will be a bad day. If you get up and you say to yourself, this is going to be a good day, I might have bad moments, but it's going to be a good day, that's much more realistic. And I just personally think that it's a far easier to view it that way than it is to be pessimistic and down in the dumps all the time. Believe me, I've been down in the dumps. My daughter can attest to that. She's the one that usually has to help me deal with things. But if you're positive-minded overall, it helps you out for sure. Now the next one, I'm not doing very well. I know it's very important, and I am trying. And I don't think that a person can do more than just try. I will succeed. I just need to try harder. But the third thing is to be active and involved. Now, when I say involved, it doesn't mean involved in any particular activity. It means involved with life. If you want to take a class, if you want to join a book club, if you want to join a swimming lesson, take a dance class, do Tai Chi. There is so many things offered. Yes, during the pandemic, a lot of things were closed down, but there is still, even online, many, many things that you can be involved in. If you don't want to be involved in an exercise type situation, Get involved in your church. Go volunteer at your children's school. Just be involved in society. Like here in this apartment building, I could be involved in the social club, or I could be involved in helping out with lots of things. So far, I have not chosen to do that. I'm very much a homebody, but I am aware that I need to make steps out somehow to do some of those things, and I am trying. Be active. Now that's the exercise component. It's very important. There are people who start their day with yoga. That's very difficult for a Parkinson's patient usually. The rigidity that you have in your body, but the stretching of the yoga really helps. And you just suffer through it to begin with, but eventually it feels much better. Lots of Parkinson people dance, lots and lots of them. They may have to make changes in how they do it because of balance, but there is lots of them. You put on the music and you can take somebody who can't walk and they can dance because the music helps with that. The fourth thing, give yourself ample time to complete tasks. People think that, I used to say all the time, oh, I'll just throw my clothes on, I'll be out the door. Well, I can't get dressed by throwing my clothes on anymore. It takes a long time to get myself dressed. Get to the socks, that can take me a long time. Just doing simple tasks. If we're in the middle of the night again, I'm making spaghetti sauce while I'm doing this. Getting those vegetables cut. I had to sit at the table and make the adaptations to how I was going to do it. And it took a long time to get all those things prepped. But they're done. You just have to give yourself the time to do that. The fifth, learn how to adapt to make easier common tasks. People don't realize the common tasks that become very hard. Brushing your teeth. That is a dreadfully hard activity when your hands are shaking or you're not holding the toothbrush very well. So I was speaking to somebody about that and they said, why not have an electric toothbrush? It would do that work for you. Well, I haven't gone to the point of having the electric toothbrush, but I've got that in my arsenal for when I can't do the regular brushing. I know that that's the next step, but it's those common things you can't do. For example, I said the other day when I made my coffee, I fill the cup half full so that I can carry it over. If I filled it all the way to the top, it would be a mess. So just make adaptations that you need. The next, sixth, accept help when it's offered, graciously. People want to help. They really do. And sometimes it's very hard, especially if you've been the one who's always gone and helped others. Then you're not in need necessarily, but you could use some help here and there. It's really hard to be that person that says, yes, yeah, I could use a casserole brought over on Thursday. Yeah, that's a tough day for me. I've got a doctor's appointment that day. That would be lovely if you did that for me. You don't have to ask for the help. People will offer the help. Accept it graciously. Number 7. Don't dwell on what you can't do. Focus on what you can. Say you can't run a marathon anymore. And every day going, no, I used to like running, but I can't run a marathon anymore, so I don't go running at all. Instead, say, I can't run a marathon, but I can walk a walkathon, and I'm going to train for it. And you've now made your focus on doing something positive and not on the negative. I think the 8th one for me, and anybody who knows me, knows that this is the best medicine of all. Laugh and laugh often. Laugh at yourself, laugh at the situation. Just laugh. It makes everything better. And on the subject of laughter, I have to tell a family story. Of course I do. I wouldn't be me without it. Anyway, this is a story about the innocence of a time gone by. My mother had just moved from Ireland. She was a young girl in her 20s, early 20s. Maybe she hadn't quite turned 20, but anyway, she was a very young girl. And she had come a long way. She'd met a very dapper young man at church named Harold. Turned out to be my father. And the two of them hit it off. He, the Canadian, and her, the little Irish girl that everybody loved. And they were suited for one another directly. Well, they got married. They lived in Brandon. They felt they'd lived in a city. Like, I mean, they weren't in the little country bumpkin towns. They'd spent time there too, but no, they weren't there. Brandon was a pretty good sized place. But if you were going to go to the city, it was Winnipeg. And things were different in the city. Anyway, one day, Dad borrowed a car. They're going to go to the city. Now, back in those days, elevators, they weren't like they are now. You would step into an elevator, and there was a metal gate that would come across, and then doors that would come by. There was an attendant on the elevator who would ask you what floor you were going to, and you would go. Well, they got to the city and parked their vehicle into a car park, and there was a beautiful elevator. And Mom was like, oh, we're going to get an elevator ride. Anywho, off they go, up to the elevator. They press a button, and the doors open, and there's no attendant in the elevator. And Dad, the brave young man, steps into the elevator, but the timid Irish girl wasn't too sure about stepping into the elevator. And all of a sudden, the doors close. He's been swallowed up by a wall. He's behind the cement. She's on one side. He's on the other. She's calling to him. Harold, Harold, are you in there? Harold, answer me. Harold, are you in there? There's no answer. The elevator has gone to another floor. The doors open. Dad, of course, didn't know what to do. He's used to having an attendant. He steps off the elevator. He goes, finds the stairs, runs down the stairs, finds Mom, scares the crap out of her because she's still looking at the doors of the elevator. Now he's coming from behind, but when he comes around the corner, he sees her, tears on her cheeks, and going, Harold, Harold, are you in there? So now for years and years, every once in a while, we'll go, Harold, are you in there? And we all just have a good laugh. So I hope you'll remember that whenever you hear the name Harold or step on an elevator. Harold, are you in there? Anyway, welcome to my family. See you tomorrow.